our featured prelim of the night. Raul Rosas Jr. versus Perrin. This is an interesting matchup because Raul is the youngest fighter to ever be signed to a UFC contract.
Yeah, he makes me really mad. Seeing how great these younger fighters are as they're coming up, at 18 years old, 17 years old on the Contender Series. I remember how good I was at 17 and where my mental state was for this sport. The game has just come so far, and to be honest with you, I'm glad that guys like Dominic and I won't be around likely for these young guys to make their way to us, because the game is changing. Watching him fight, he's a fantastic grappler. I love the new kind of style of grappling where I don't want to say it's opportunistic, but it's very it's very submission oriented. They don't really care where they end up. They're always attacking, they're always dangerous. But he does find himself in a dangerous situation with a striker with heavy hands and Perrin. It's a great test, and who knows how he's going to react under the big lights. This is a huge card to debut on. There's a lot of eyes on it. You're in the T-Mobile, you're here in Las Vegas, and everyone's eyes are on you because you are the youngest fighter in UFC history. So there's a lot of pressure that comes with that.
Yeah, the Rosas and the Perrin, when you look at these guys, these are the guys that have been watching the Anthony Smiths, all the youngsters, and all the stuff that we built the past, so that when they come up, they've already passed all the boundaries that we were stuck at. They've already gotten there and said, oh, that's where they stopped. All right, now that's where we need to fill the gap. So each person that comes in front of us, that came in front of us, I learned from. They're learning, and now when you see them, you can see how good they are. As Smith put it, Rosas, his ground game, the way that he goes for the finishes, and then Perrin the stand-up. You got striker versus grappler. If you're going to put it into what you think it might be, obviously an MMA fight has everything, but this is the fight that's going to bring something to the table with the youngsters and show how good these guys really are getting.
Dominic, when you were his age, what were you doing?
17. I was wrestling. So martial art, I look at wrestling as the very first martial art. So I started that when I was 10. I think a lot of guys did. But the difference is all these youngsters have every gym with every mixed martial art you could think of. When I started, you had to get guys off their lunch break to come in and train with you. And then hope that you could gather 6 of them that had enough cardio to make it through you. Now you've got 6 guys that can just beat you to death at any given time, in any given octagon, at any given gym, with all the bag work, with all the trainers, with all the cardio, with the ice bath. So all the recovery, all the training, all the tools, all the trainers that can hold pads, and all the training partners is what makes these guys rise to the occasion and show up on the next level, from my experience.
Yeah, I was absolute trash at 17. I was terrible.
No.
I was showing up to amateur fight nights, just signing up, and they matched us up. I wasn't great. Actually, amateur debut, same card as Drew Dober.
Oh my gosh.
Both 17.
Interesting.
And we were not that good.
But there was obviously a clear focus, so don't sell yourself short there. You already knew what you were going to do. These guys trying to say they weren't that great. You guys were great at that point, but a different level for Raul and his family of focus.
You're right. I was just wrestling. Okay? Thank you, Megan.
All right, fair enough. Like I said, that was our featured prelim. You can watch that fight on ESPN too. Let's take a look at some of the other fights during that block. Chris Curtis versus Joaquin Buckley. That is a very intriguing matchup. A little bit of bad blood there. Edmund Shabazian returns. We see Rosenstrike versus Christakis. A matchup of 2 top 15 heavyweights there. And like we said, Raul versus Perrin in our featured prelim of the night. But we've got even earlier fights than that one, which you can watch on ESPN+. Billy Q versus Alexander Hernandez, who made the cut to featherweight, was successfully on the scale. I believe he was the second guy to make weight this morning. He's a big 55er. He's going to be a big 45er. That should be great. We got a couple of great featherweight matchups, bantamweights, and some flyweights there on the early prelims.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.